During awakening, we start to come across this magnetic pull towards our core, to the void, to our formless self. And we may also be scared of it and try to push it away as well. And so it's quite natural that we have this magnetic pull towards the void, and also this sort of rejection of it and this fear response that happens as we push it away. And so we have this push-pull going on with the void, and the void is just our formless nature. It is us pre-creation. And so nothing has been created yet. As we go through the layers of going into ourself deeper and deeper, and we come across pure awareness, what we see is when we go deeper than that, that there is what feels like a void. It feels like nothing has existed, and that this is still us. This is us at our core level, our real fundamental level. So we are a void, we are pre-creation, we are formless, and we're also pure awareness, and we're also form, we're also everything in form. We're all of those things. It's a paradox. We're all of that all at once. And during awakening, we start to be able to tune into the different parts of ourself. And one of those parts, our deepest part at our core, is what we could call the void, or our formless selves. And to talk about our formless self, the void, is very difficult because it is prior to language. So it's very hard to speak about what exactly it is, other than to say there's just nothing's been created yet. It's something we really need to experience for ourselves. So in this talk, I'll give you a few ways that can help to try to activate accessing our core self, but it can very much happen spontaneously if we just have a willingness to explore a deeper part to ourselves, and we're going very deep into meditation and we just keep going deeper. It's very likely to sort of spontaneously happen. It can also happen when you're on retreat, with transmission being assistance, and assistance with the teacher being there, or the land that you're on assisting with transmission. That can certainly help as well, but sometimes it'll just spontaneously happen. And a void experience is like no other awakening experience. You disappear completely. The body, everything is gone. It's completely timeless. And so you have no concept of how long you've been gone for. And you only know that something's happened when you come back and you're conscious again. And so this may sound scary, but it's not when you experience it, because there's no fear. Everything is gone, absolutely everything. So it's only when you come back that you even realize that anything's happened. So there's nothing to be scared of at all. And so pointers to show that it's a void experience would be that you're initially not conscious when it is happening, and then you only realize as you come back. That could be one indication of a void experience, that you're touching into your formless self, your core self. The fact that it's timeless is another one, that you don't know how long. It could have been a second, it could have been a year. You have no clue how long that experience went for when you touched into it. And then another indication is that your life can change quite dramatically afterwards, the weeks post that void experience, when you've accessed your fundamental self. And that is because when we access ourselves in such a deep way, it really helps in breaking apart a lot of identity. And so you could think of like a big chunk of the iceberg of identity falls off when we access our core self, when we access our formless self. And so it's a really excellent way to help our progress with awakening, is accessing ourselves in such a deep way, because you can really feel a big chunk of conditioning or a big chunk of identity leaves post that experience, and then things change quite dramatically. how you feel changes because you've had identity drop away and conditioning dropping away. Your access to presence may change and be deeper. Things in your life may start falling away. Things might change. So that's another indication that you've accessed your formless nature. So now I'll talk about some ways that you can help to start to lean into that if you're interested. So we can do our normal meditations, and if we're doing a good practice where we keep going in more and more, and we've noticed that our practice is deepening and we're getting more silent and more still and going in and in and in, we just keep going further in, and eventually we're going to stumble across our formless self. So just doing it through meditation of a continual going inward is one way to access our formless nature. We could use a prompt such as this inquiry that I'm going to give you that can help to activate this part of ourselves. And that could be, what is prior to awareness? What exists prior to awareness? And so when we're doing any type of self-inquiry, we're using it as a prompt to access our fundamental nature. We're not interested in anything the mind has to say about it. It's to help us to get that experience, to get us to be there, to live it, to experience it. So what is it that exists prior to awareness? We're wanting to experience ourselves prior to pure awareness. And so the way I see it, our fundamental self at our very core is prior to pure awareness, and pure awareness is birthed out of that and is, you could say, our first or initial creation, a very subtle creation, a subtle energy, we could say, pure awareness. And then form is created out of that. But for me, at our very core, it is prior to awareness as well. It's prior to absolutely everything, which is why it's so hard to sort of pinpoint and talk about. But when we experience it directly, then it makes a lot more sense. As we have more of these type of void experiences, we can become conscious while we're there. And that can be quite interesting to know where you are within yourself while it's happening. Can be very interesting. I would say it's typically not scary at all, because while you're in it, it's not scary. If you reflect upon it or think about having it, then that's when the fear can arise. As we get closer to having an experience of our formless nature, we certainly can get a fear response in the body. We can feel like danger is ahead. That's just what the body and mind's interpretation of accessing something that's very mysterious. It feels mysterious. So it's just us. We're just accessing ourselves, but we've forgotten that that's us. And it feels so foreign and so different to anything else that we access in our normal day-to-day experience of believing in all of the things that we see in our reality. It feels like such a contrast to that. So it just is activating. So it doesn't have to be, not everyone finds it scary, but just as we're getting closer, we can get a fear response. And we just have to work through the layers of that and try and edge towards it and try to relax into it and tell ourselves it's okay. It's okay. This is just me returning back to myself, just remembering myself. There's nothing to fear here. Everything's okay. Nothing bad is happening. And just tell the body and the nervous system it's okay to relax. It's okay, mind. I don't need to believe any of those thoughts, those fearful thoughts. It's understandable, but there's no need. Let me just relax into this. And so we really want to relax our way into our being. We're not going to be able to do it from a contracted place because that's activating ego. We're wanting to do it from a very relaxed, deep, going in, relaxation, relaxation is how we're more likely to access our fundamental nature. It can be also helpful to practice techniques where we're getting used to the sensation of dropping or our energy not contracting. And a way that we can do this is to lie down and see if we can feel our energy body dropping through the bed, dropping through our body and dropping through the bed. Can we get a sensation of dropping happening? And what we'll notice is when we can allow that surrender to happen, that we can let go in that way, we'll notice it catches, and then we'll feel like we're in the body again. And so the practice is, can we just allow that incrementally to keep happening and keep surrendering to that and dropping more and more until we just keep sort of dropping indefinitely. And this helps our body and our energy body to not be contracted and holding on, but to allow it to open and release and surrender, which is going to be able to act as a portal to accessing our very core fundamental nature. So that can be a good practice to start to prepare you for this level of surrender, is to just feel yourself dropping. Each time you catch, you just reset and start again and see if you can just keep dropping. And then you just keep practicing that, going as far as you can, dropping further and further. We can also imagine ourselves like on a tightrope or on the edge of a cliff overlooking a void. We can just imagine that as best we can, and then noticing ourselves, swan diving off or leaning back into it or dropping off a tightrope. So some sort of sensation of falling into a void. And then again, we might notice a catching that happens. We might notice hands grabbing. We might notice legs clenching. And so we're seeing where the contractions are happening in the body that's stopping us from surrendering into it. And so bit by bit, as we practice this, we practice falling into our imaginary void in the mind, we can allow those contractions of the body to stop happening and to just realize that it's safe. And so it's going to take some time for the body to get the message that this is okay, this is safe. You don't need to contract, you don't need to hold on. And because the sensation of this endless falling that can be a part of accessing our formless nature can feel quite scary to the body. The body wants to feel like it's here and snap back into the now. And so we're trying to train the body that it's okay, that it can just relax into it, that nothing bad is happening. You don't need to contract. So practicing things like that, where we're allowing the body to work through all of those different contractions until it gets to a space where it's like, oh, I can realize that I can let go into this. And this could take months. It could. So if you're really interested in accessing your formless nature, it certainly can happen spontaneously as a grace, but you can work towards it. And it's hugely beneficial because it's going to really help with your progression with awakening. It gives you a big sort of leap forward in awakening. So I would strongly recommend that you work towards accessing yourself at this really core level.